Hello and welcome back to my channel and to my Tokyo studio. I make vintage kimono jewellery from forgotten textiles here in Japan. The other day I bumped into one of my studio neighbours and she had some mimosa, which is in bloom in Tokyo currently, and asked if I would like a sprig of it to see if I could get some colour off it. So in today's video I'm experimenting to see the colours I can get from mimosa and do a little bit of colour shifting using a variety of different chemicals. Stick around to the end and I'll share my dye diary with you so you can see what I've been up to. Mimosa is also called acacia, or in the southern hemisphere it is known as wattle. It is a beautiful tree with very delicate, pretty leaves, and also in the spring it blossoms with these puffy little yellow blossoms. This is about a minute I've been in hot water, so I think there's a lot of potential here. I'm back in the studio and it has been just a bit less than 24 hours and we're going to see what colour we got from the mimosa. Let's have a look. Ooh, so that is a really different colour. I thought it was going to be more yellow than that. It's kind of like an orangey colour. That's really nice. Look at that. This is the piece that I'm going to be dyeing. And I got it from the clothes swap and it is 100% linen. It's quite a nice shape. I think I'd probably wear this in the summer. It is a piece from Gap. So basically I got this for free. So if I mess it up, it doesn't matter because I can re-dye it, or I can do it in indigo. I can do whatever I want. It's actually in super good condition. There's no marks, there's no holes. I think it's going to look super pretty and hoping it's going to turn a nice shade of lemon. Let's see. Stick with me. I'm going to be doing a cold mordanting process with this. I'm trying to save energy. Because I don't have a mains cooker here, I have to buy the gas. So I'm trying to save energy and effort. So I calculated the amount of alum. It's 15% of the weight of the fibre. And then I'm going to just do a cold mordanting process, which is just soaking the fibres for 24 hours. Now this is quite a used linen top. I believe it's been washed a lot, so I don't think it needs scouring particularly. I've just washed it and dried it, so it's clean. So if you are using brand new fibres, you really do need to scour it first with soda ash and some light detergent. But in this case, because I know it's a used piece of clothing, I'm not going to. So I'm just going to put it in and make sure there's no air bubbles and make sure that it's equally mordanted so that I'll get a good colour coverage over the whole garment. So I'm going to leave that in there. I'm going to put some silk pieces in as well, just to use up the mordant. Okay, so I'm going to leave that in there for 24 hours. Make sure it's submerged. If you want to, you can put a weight on top, like a towel or something like that, or some kind of weight, a big stone or something, and make sure it's submerged. But it looks like it is fully submerged in the water, in the alum water. and I'll give it a stir a couple of times before I go, and then I'm going to get it out tomorrow and we're going to do the dyeing. Meanwhile, I'm going to leave this soaking for another 24 hours and then I'll warm it up and dye tomorrow. The mimosa's been soaking for now 48 hours and I've just put it on the hob to warm through because I'm about to dye my fibres, but I thought I'd show you what kind of colour it's turned into. I've just put it on a few minutes ago, so it's starting to warm up, but it looks like a pinkish tea at the moment, orangey pink, so like a coral colour. I'm not really sure what we're going to get once the fibres go in, but we're going to see. It's a really lush, gorgeous colour, really like that. Let's have a look. If you watched my previous video all about how to get cheap fibres, this is one of the things I forgot to mention. I went to the 100 yen shop and I bought lots of cheap cotton handkerchiefs. And they were actually in the 100 yen shop sale, which is even cheaper. They were 50 yen each because the 100 yen shop was closing down, and I managed to grab a bunch of those. So that's another cheap way to get some 100% cotton fabric. So I'm warming through. This is really getting hot now. I can feel it. So hot. And when it starts to get, oh, it smells so good. It smells like tea or potatoes or something. It's really nice. So when this gets hot enough, which should be in a couple of minutes, I'm going to put my wet fibres in there. I've got some kimono silk lining and I've got some bed sheet, cotton, 100% cotton bed sheet. This is also from inside the kimono, the layers that you wear underneath. And also I have the shirt that I got at the clothes swap, made of 100% linen. And this has been soaking in the alum mordant for 24 hours now. So we're ready. I've wrung it out so that it doesn't dilute the liquid, and we'll see if we can get some colour on it in a minute. It's so exciting. So it's quite warm and I'm going to try and soak the fibres. So what I'm planning to do is just leaving them for 24 hours so that I can let as much dye come out as possible. This is what this looks like. I might even leave the mimosa in there because I'm looking for a kind of interesting texture anyway. I don't just want it to be the colour of the mimosa. So let's have a look. So I'm just going to put it in and I'll just do an initial dunk and then I'll show you if there's any change. Sometimes it's immediate, sometimes it takes a few days, sometimes it's one day. So far it's just changed to a little bit. Yeah, that's changing. You can see it's changing already. And that's just pretty much immediate. I'll do half of the linen and then you can see how much colour it's taking in. So there we go. This is in absolutely great shape, by the way. So I'm just going to dunk it halfway so that you can see how quickly the colour is going on. And I'm just going to leave it for maybe a minute or two. And this is a good way of knowing, for me, is a good litmus test almost, that if it dyes immediately, then I know that in 24 hours I'm going to have nice results. And always natural dye does dry a lot lighter than you see when it's wet. And also the rinsing, after you've been dyeing it, you're going to rinse it and some of the dye will come off. But that's why we mordant. We mordant so that the dye can bind to the fibres a lot easier. Right, so that's been about, I reckon, a minute. So just going to test, and you can already see it's yellow. Okay, so I'm going to put the whole thing in and then warm it up, let it simmer for about half an hour. Make sure that it's completely covered in the dye, and then I'm going to let it soak for 24 hours. I'm going to put these other little bits in as well, because I want something for my dye diary to show the process. One of the things I might do is I might do some ferrous sulfate mixture on top of these little swatches, just to show you some colour shifting as well. But that will be in a couple of days' time. It's been about 30 minutes that this has been warming up, but it's not even bubbling yet. However, I can see a big change in the fibres. Look at that, so gorgeous. And I can also see that the dye bath itself has been exhausted, so it's gone into the fibres, which is good news. The linen is not as strong a yellow, but it's still a beautiful yellow. It's always the silk that does really well. What else do I have in here? Just pieces of cotton, kind of lemon, very pale lemon. So I think if I let this go for another few minutes, and then I'm going to let it cool, and I'll come and get it out tomorrow when it's all soaked overnight. Let's see. It smells divine, by the way. So if you're ever going to try this, be prepared for a lovely smell. After 24 hours of soaking, I got the fibres out, gave them a rinse and hung them up to dry. You can already see the gorgeous colours that I got from the Mimosa, especially the silk. Keep watching and I'll show you the dried colours, and we'll do some colour shifting also. I was quite happy with the colour that we got in the end. This is a vintage cotton that it's actually more lemon in real life than this looks. This is the bed sheet. Again, it's more lemon than it looks. It's difficult to show you the colour because it's a really bright day today. It's a very sunny spring day in Tokyo today. So the linen top, I'm really happy with this. This came out so nice. It needs a good press. I need to iron it. But I'm really happy with the colour. I think I could do more on this. Maybe some eco printing. Maybe some flower pounding. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but it does need something else. I don't know yet. Maybe some sashiko stitching down one side. I'm not really sure. And as always, the silk came out the best. It always dyes really well. And this is more like, you can't really see in this light because it's sort of catching the light, but it's like a real lemon yellow. Okay, so in my dye diary, I have stuck in the swatches for just the pure Mimosa dye. And I've written all my instructions of things I did so that I can remember. I need to put the date on here as well. So, and where I found this Mimosa. So I also know 3 of the trees in my local area that I'm going to make a note of. So now we're going to try and shift these colours with 3 different things. So here's the stacks of 3 different fabrics. I'm going to try citric acid on one of them. And I'm going to try ferrous sulfate on another. And I'm just going to do regular old vinegar on another. And then we're going to compare the results. So first of all, I'm just going to have a little citric acid in a jam jar. And I'm going to put some warm water and dissolve it, and we're going to see if we can shift some of the colours. This is warm, not hot. And okay, so now I'm going to soak it in there, just see if anything happens. Let it. So I've just put all of these in the citric acid mixture, and it does look like it's going a bit pinky. Let's see in a minute. Okay, so I'll leave that for a little while, and now I'm going to put vinegar in here. I think I'll just do straight vinegar just to see if there's a reaction. So this straight vinegar, it's just regular, this is just Japanese regular vinegar. Oh, it's a strong smell. And I'm just going to put that one in there. And we'll see if we can make any changes. So in this one, just have to be very careful to make sure that you've got well ventilated area with this, because it is metal, ferrous sulfate. It is iron, and you don't want to be breathing any of the powder in, nor do you want to be breathing in any of the steam. So just be very careful. Just put a little, it's a real sprinkle. And what you'll see immediately is that the water is going to change to a sort of rusty colour. You see? And I think this one is going to see the biggest results. Usually it does. There we go. Okay, I'm going to leave those just for about 5 minutes, and we're going to come back and have a look and see if we've got anything to report. I've just rinsed them, and this is what we have. They're still quite damp, but nearly dry. It's amazing the range of colours you can get by just changing one element. So this one was the citric acid, so it's made it kind of more pink, but actually kind of bleached out the cotton. Although it's got a pink tinge, you can't see it in this light again. And the one with the vinegar is much more yellow. And then the one with the ferrous sulfate is, as always happens, it makes the colour grey, but in this case it's made a really nice green. This is a lovely colour. So I'm going to dry those, and then I'm going to pop them into my dye diary. So here are the results of the colour shifting. This is the vinegar colour shift. So it started off like this, the raw colour on silk, and the vinegar changed to kind of like a yellowy colour, and this cotton, vintage cotton, changed into kind of like a beige colour, and the bed sheet, the cotton sheet, also went like that as well. And then the citric acid, it gave a more pink kind of hue. This is a silk, so this is much more pink than the vinegar one. And this is the vintage, sorry I put that in there wrong way. This is the vintage cotton. You can see the difference, this is more yellow. And the bed sheet. And then The ferrous sulfate, the iron water, did amazing work. It made a kind of sage green on the silk. On the cotton it made a kind of khaki. And the bed sheet is a very similar colour also. So that's the results of today's experiment, and keep watching for more dye pots. I've got more coming up, and I'm going to try to do one a week. Spring is here, so there's plentiful supplies of materials, and I can't wait to get cracking. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you like the colours that the Mimosa made. I have actually saved the Mimosa in a jar. It is an exhausted dye currently, so I've sat it in the sun and I'm trying to get more colour out of it for the future. If you want to help me out, don't forget to like this video and consider subscribing to my channel so that you can see more dye videos just like this one. See you next time.